Peace, everybody. It's the Lord Head Code World. I'm over here with my main man, Jay Wiggs. What's good, Brody?
What's good, Brody?
Can't call it, man. Just want to welcome everybody back to another episode of Brody Sports Talk. We are on episode 12. We are pushing forward here. We definitely want to say we appreciate everybody out there for supporting us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. We're over 200,000 views and counting. We're pushing to that half a milli, and we're getting close. We're definitely putting out some work here, and we definitely appreciate everybody following us. If you're not following us, again, it's on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and click the subscribe button and show your love here. But to go ahead and get started, we got a new subject for our opening take. This has been circling around the media these past couple of days, and that is Los Luka. Luka Doncic gets traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Completely caught off guard by this trade. I think it's safe to say that, in any sport, there's certain players that are going to be off limits, right? For trades. Patrick Mahomes is never going to get traded. He's off the trading block. Lamar Jackson, for the Commanders recently, Jaden Daniels, and then obviously, you got your LeBron Jameses, your Steph Currys, and everybody like Giannis and so on and so forth. And Luka was kind of like one of those players, that was just, you just didn't expect him to be on the trading block. He was a franchise player. Everybody expected him to be with Dallas for the rest of his career. He's young. He's like 25, 26,
25.
27. So, definitely caught the NBA world off guard there. But why don't you go ahead and bring everybody up to speed, Wiggs, as far as what the terms of the trade was.
All right, let's start with, like you said, just a blockbuster trade in the middle of the winter. Usually these happen in the summer, but this is the middle of the season, middle of the winter. Just a crazy deal. We have Luka Doncic, the big two. Luka Doncic being traded for Anthony Davis. The Lakers now have Luka Doncic to pair with LeBron James. They also bring in Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris. Markieff Morris won a championship with LeBron, so they reunite. And Anthony Davis now joins the Dallas Mavericks, and Kyrie Irving, coached by Jason Kidd. So they have championship aspirations. They also get Max Christie in the deal and a 2029 first round pick. Randomly, the Jazz are in this deal to make the money work. They get Jalen Hood-Schifino from the Lakers, so he's joining Utah. They also get 2 second-round picks just to sweeten the deal, sweeten the pot, and really, that's just a money thing to make that one go through. We can get into the De'Aaron Fox, Zach LaVine trade a little bit later, but let's start with this one. Cole, first of all, where were you? This is one of those trades where you kind of remember, like, it's cemented in your brain. Where were you when you got the news? What were your first thoughts?
I was at home watching TV when I got the alert on my phone, and I couldn't believe it. I thought I was getting spammed, to be quite honest, because I was sitting there thinking, like, who trades away their franchise player that hasn't even technically reached his prime? In the NBA, players normally reach their prime around that 27 to 30 year mark. So I was very shocked when I heard the trade, but as soon as I saw it, I said the Dallas Mavericks are making two statements. Number one, they're ready to win now, and two, they don't believe in Luka Doncic enough to give him that max deal of $345 million, because there's a lot of red flags with him.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, there's a lot of red flags with this guy. He is arguably the greatest bitch, greatest bitcher of all time.
Oh, man.
I don't know how many times. Look, anyone who knows me knows that I am an old school basketball head, man. I hate the new modern NBA. I can't stand it, but I watch enough of it to complain about it. And this dude, literally every other series, is complaining to the refs, and it's 4-on-5 on down there on the back end. And now you're pairing him with the greatest bitcher of all time, and LeBron James. So you're gonna have instances, folks, when you got two players arguing with the ref on the other side, and it's literally 3-on-5 because they're over there bitching and complaining. I cannot wait to see it. But
Hold on, let me jump in here, Cole, because that's a great point. I was thinking about that, and I was like, I don't think I've seen anybody on TV talk about that. This is either going to challenge both of these players to be better, or you're absolutely because usually you have one player that complains and bitches and moans like that. Like you can have one superstar, but you can't have two. That's going to look crazy on the court to see
and it's
Luca and
habitual. It's every play. It's literally
Yeah, no,
every. If you saw him in the Western Conference Finals last year, like there were literally possessions where he was arguing with the ref while it's 4-on-5 on the other side of the court. And you can't have that. And like I said, you pair that with LeBron, it's going to come back to bottom if they don't nip that in the bud. But the Mavericks, they want to win now, right? Klay Thompson only has what, maybe about 2 or 3 years left in the tank. Kyrie Irving, I mean, he's a
Kyrie's
gunslinger.
balling right now.
He's
Kyrie's
balling,
balling.
but you never know. He might just wake up one day, and burn some sage and put a couple of crystals around the window and have an ancestral seance and say, you know what, I don't want to play basketball anymore.
That's what he did in the finals. He did not show up last year in the finals. He went to Boston burning sage. I don't know what it did for him because he was the one that didn't show up. So
Yeah,
maybe he needs to put the sage down. But
and,
but right
and,
now he is balling though.
and I think that's why the GM who is making he could go down as making the dumbest decision of all time if this doesn't work out. But maybe that's what his motive is. It's like, okay, we got Kyrie Irving that seems to be playing at a high level. We got Klay Thompson that still has some left in the tank. So there's your backfield right there and your clutch shots if you need it. Anthony Davis, who's already a proven center in the league that he's arguably, I mean, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. It is what it is. He's top 75 all time. He's got his ring, but he's 32 years old, so he's right on the edge of leaving his prime. So he's got a few more years left. They got the big, they got the defense. It's win now for them. And honestly, I think in the NBA, if your team is 27 years older, 27 years of age and older, you have more of an advantage because these young teams don't have that playoff pedigree yet. So like OKC, even though they're playing lights out right now, potentially San Antonio and them, they're still young. So I don't really trust them
Absolutely.
later on in the playoffs. I trust the veteran teams. So that could be
Let me
also another factor as well.
let me ask you this, Code. Do you think the Mavs have a big three with
Oh
Kyrie,
yeah,
AD, and
I'll
Clay?
I'll I'll take Kyrie, Clay, and AD. Yeah, for sure.
Would you compare them more to the Boston Celtics big three or a Miami Heat big three?
I'd probably say Miami Heat only because I don't expect AD to. Well, let me rephrase it. Not as far as like Wade and Bron, not on that level. I'm
Okay.
talking about you having
Age
two.
wise.
Yeah, age wise, and then you got two legit. You got your two scorers. Like Braun and Wade. You got Clay and Kyrie. Right? Kyrie is he's the alpha dog. So if you need someone to take over the game or take that last shot, he can do it. Or Clay can do it. But the biggest thing is Mr. Glass, aka Anthony Davis, doesn't have all that wear and tear on him now because now he's got more options. And anytime he gets an owie, he doesn't have to sit out for 4 or 5 games for a chip nail. So I think the Lakers are going to be the team that kind of regresses because you got your boy Luca who doesn't play defense. He's always going to be out of shape, and we already know how LeBron is. It's only going to take 1 or 2 times for him to piss him off before he gets shipped off again. They lost their big. They have no depth on the bench. I think this is a horrible trade for the Lakers. I wouldn't have done this.
And that's what makes this trade so interesting is the initial reaction in Dallas are why would we trade Luca? Why do we trade Luca? Why do we trade Luca? But once everybody kind of stopped and thought about this trade, it sounds like the reaction is Dallas is better suited to win right now,
Yep.
and not just win, but they position themselves really really well. Anthony Davis talked about wanting to play along a center. They have Daniel Gafford and Lively there, two great centers that's the position they play. So now AD gets to go back to playing the four. those other guys defend well too. So AD, like you said, he doesn't have to do as much as he was doing in LA, where he was everything in LA.
Yeah.
And LeBron is not doing as much. So they're shuffling or funneling everything to AD. AD, you got to do all the work. He's not going to have to do that in Dallas, not as much because one, Luka's gone. So that's
Mm-hmm.
another defensive person. I mean, person that wasn't playing defense, like you said, Luka's just talking to the refs. But the play's still going on, Luka. Like, bro, you can wait for a timeout to start doing all that. You're complaining to the ref. The play's still going on. Boston exposed Luka, honestly, last year in
Mm-hmm.
the finals, and it is kind of crazy that they made it that far. And that's where the talent piece, I guess, comes into play. Like you're saying, Luka's not even in his prime. He's only 25, which is crazy to say. He's a five-time first team All NBA. You
Mm-hmm.
know, definitely an all-star. He's made it to the finals, made it to the Western Conference Finals. Um, so we see the talent, but I think like your first point, the Mavericks didn't want to pay that 345 million. I
No.
think. Do you think that's the biggest piece of that, in your opinion, is the contract, or do you
I
think it's the
honestly think that was
professionalism?
that had to be one of the biggest deciding factors because they didn't shop him. You know, they didn't put him out on the market and take the best deal because this definitely was not the best deal. They probably could have found something better, but they were probably like, okay, we need to find someone that's going to be okay with taking this guy off of our hands. And I mean, that 345 million guaranteed to
That's a
someone
lot.
who comes, comes in habitually off, out of shape. You don't play defense, and again, like I said, he's a habitual bitcher.
Hey, I think they said he showed up this year at 260, and they won him at
260.
230.
That's that's
That's
that's
30
linebacker
pounds
weight.
overweight. Yeah, 30 pounds overweight is crazy, and you're not cut like LeBron. Like LeBron
Yeah.
is a legit 6'9", 260. Your 260 is not the same as LeBron. So
Nah.
30
Nah.
pounds overweight is crazy for an athlete. I think you're absolutely right. That contract is a huge part of the deciding factor because these teams go into the luxury tax. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just that you're going to be paying 345. No, you're also going to be playing into the luxury tax because you got to pay Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
Clay got a decent contract out of y'all. So are we going to be able to keep building a team? It's the same thing we see in the NFL. Are we going to be able to keep building a team if we sign you to this max deal? We saw with I go back to what we said with the Commanders. I'll go back to the Wizards. We know our team. We saw what this team did when we paid John Wall. We saw what happened to the Wizards when we played Bradley Beal. It didn't work paying those guys max contracts. And
Yeah.
this max that Luca was on pace to get is the super max. This is the first time that anybody was ever going to get this because it's a new thing in the new bargaining agreement that the players and the owners agreed to. So this was going to be the first time it ever happened. You have to have been drafted by the team and stayed with them the whole time. And the Mavericks are like, nah, Luka's not the one to get this. I think a
Yeah.
lot of players are gonna. This is gonna hit a lot of players. I'm not sure if Ja Moran is up for his, but that's gonna be another
I
interesting
don't think
piece.
so.
Do you give Ja this type of contract because he has his own things? Not to get too far off track, but I don't
Yeah. I
know.
mean,
It's gonna take a legendary player to get this supermax contract.
yeah, it's definitely going to take someone of high character to even warrant something like that. Because John Moran is, he's already shown that he can't be trusted with that type of power. But one of the biggest things that I don't think the Lakers factored in with trading for Luca was how is this going to how is who's the head coach over there, Reddick, how is he
JJ
going to
Redick.
manage two ball players that are ball dominant? Like the ball always has to be in LeBron's hands. And if anyone knows Luca, he gets the ball and dribbles out the entire shot clock and then just throws up a Hail Mary. And oftentimes he makes it because he's a great shooter. But it's like, that's not going to work with LeBron. You
That's a
got to
great
move. You
point.
got to move without the ball when 23 is on the court, and what's going to end up happening is you're going to see Luca on the other side of the court, just sitting there, not doing anything, just
Yeah.
standing there with LeBron with his hands out, and LeBron's going to tell him to keep moving, and he's going to say no, and then he's going to pass it to somebody else, and then they're going to start arguing. I don't see how this is going to work, and I love it because I do not want him to tie Kobe. I said it.
Hey, let's go. Okay. Hey, listen, I love when the hater comes out. I love when the
I ain't
hater
no
comes out
hater.
on the.
I'm no hater. I'm a realist. He's a
Hey,
false
nah,
prophet.
You are the biggest LeBron lover and hater. Like, you so confused when it comes to LeBron. You love him and
I
you hate him at the
love
same time.
I love to hate that guy, and I hate to love him.
I'm telling you. All right. So
Such a false prophet.
let me
God,
address that concern of yours a little bit. One, I don't know if you remember the podcast that JJ Redick and LeBron were doing last year. They did this for like a month, and again, this is where LeBron is like, I didn't have anything to do with the Lakers signing JJ. LeBron, shut the hell up, man. You did a whole podcast with them trying to see like what kind of coach he is. Y'all are drawing up plays on the podcast. Of course you had something to do with the Lakers signing JJ Redick. The news
everywhere
came out.
LeBron goes, there's a new coach. There's a few new players that get signed or
Yeah.
released. He does this everywhere he goes.
So LeBron, you absolutely had something to do with it. And I don't see the Lakers making this trade without LeBron signing off on this either. They're not getting rid of AD without LeBron signing off on it at some point. I don't care if they said LeBron didn't know, he found out at dinner, he was shocked. That's just to cover LeBron's ass.
Yeah,
LeBron knew about this at some point. He was able to keep it on the hush. Like you said, I think more than likely, like you said, this was really the Dallas Mavericks GM. Well, I think his name is Ron Harrison. This is him more so like he had to keep these things on the hush because if this news gets out, Luka's gonna have a fit. And again, you're going to be getting a big star in return. So it really is one of those things like you kind of have to do this in the shadows. Like if this gets out, it's a big freaking deal. And I hear Kyrie's not happy about it. I'm not sure how Jason Kidd feels about it. I think he
he didn't
signed
like
off
it
with.
either.
I don't think he liked it.
He was left
And
out of the loop. He said he was left out of the loop.
so yeah, so that's again, this is where that GM, and I mentioned this to you before that we started the show, Co. This is the same guy that messed up the Steph Curry presentation at Nike. Bro, your resume is not looking good. He also worked with Kobe, so I'll give him some credit. I think they said he worked with Kobe, he worked a little bit with Jordan. So, sometimes you're in the right place at the right time. Robert Ory got 6 rings just for being on the same team with Kobe. But Robert Ory, you're not that guy. Like you got rings, but you're not Draymond Green. Draymond Green swears he's a Hall of Famer. It's because of Steph Curry, Dre. Like you might make it, it's
Well,
because of
he's
Steph
going in,
Curry.
bro. Boss.
Yeah, he. Hey, yeah.
He's he's definitely a first battle entry.
Okay. Hey, yo,
Only
all
because he got
right.
the Defensive Player of the Year award.
That's a big piece for Draymond.
Yeah,
And Draymond is definitely a key piece, but mostly it's Steph Curry.
yeah,
Robert
of
Ory,
course.
you're a great player. You got 6 chips. It's mostly Kobe. I think Scottie Pippen was recently talking about he's ahead of LeBron because he has 6 chips. Scottie, stop it.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with some of these basketball players, but they're saying a lot of stupid stuff, like just to try to
Just
stay relevant. But
just
it's
stop
like,
it,
bro,
Scottie.
like Pippen, like, look, brother, like we all love you. We love you. Okay,
We love you. We love
you're
you,
like
Scottie.
you're like that drunk uncle that recovered. We were
Yeah, like
all
you were
rooting
great
for
back in
you.
the day. You
Yeah,
you definitely
you
were
were
great
him.
back in the day. You
You
won
were
the
him,
state
and we still
championship
believe in
when
you.
you were in high school.
You're
Yeah.
top 50 all time. You got your 6 rings, but we know you got your 6 rings because you were riding shotgun with Jordan.
You you were robbing, bro. You were robbing.
You
Like
you had your chance to show the world that you could take the team to it. Yeah, you had a similar record, but you didn't do shit in the playoffs. And just like my man Bubba, trash,
Hey,
trash, trash in that
they
playoffs. You was trash.
they didn't
Okay,
even
you
give you the ball at
even
the end of
refused
the
to go
playoffs. They
into
gave
the
it to
game when the
freaking what's
game
the
was
name?
on the line.
Telling you, man.
I'll never forget that. So
So yeah, so
yeah,
let me get
man.
back on. Let me get back on track. Um, Let me ask you this, Cole. So you mentioned the Lakers. You think the Lakers regress in this? Do you think they can get another piece before the Thursday trade deadline to solidify the roster?
I mean, nobody major. Like who? Nobody major.
Yeah,
Carl Anthony Towns, he's already settled in New York. You can't mess with them. Speaking of New York, and the GM in Dallas, wasn't he the GM when he had Porzingis and Brunson in Dallas at the same time as well? They had
I hope
Luca,
not.
Brunson, and
Oh
Porzingis,
man,
and he botched that. But that's a whole
I
nother
hope I
ordeal.
hope that's not true.
I
But I
hope
mean,
that,
yeah,
yeah.
his resume is looking bad. His resume is not looking good right now.
Yeah,
Um,
and there's no legit bigs out there that you can trade for that's going to be able to go up against AD. I mean, there's only legitimate bigs, or what 4 or 5, people. You
right.
got Wimby, you got Giannis, you got AD, you got Carl Anthony Towns, Porzingis, and I mean, who else after that? Really,
Yeah, and none of them are coming to LA to
yeah,
save the day. And and
and
and LeBron needs that type of center or big. You know, he had Chris Bosh, he had Kevin Love. Those guys are like 20 and 15 type of guys.
yeah.
It's no 20 and 15 guy coming to save LeBron like
No,
at this
and,
point
and
of the
no one wants
season.
to play with LeBron right now, man. Let's be honest. He's in the twilight of his career. He's still playing at a high level, yes, but like if I were, let's just say, Giannis for an example, and I was a free agent, I'm not going to LA unless I have a guarantee that one, we're going to have some other like pieces there, and it's not just going to be me and LeBron because he can bolt at any moment, and now I'm stuck here by myself. And that's
Yeah,
what's going to happen to Luca when LeBron retires. Mark my words, bro. If this goes south, he's leaving. He has no trade clause, so but he can choose to waive that.
that's true.
So, at the end of the season, this half is gonna just keep your eyes on LeBron on the bench. When they sit together, if he gives them this look, he's gone. You know how LeBron does.
Hey, I saw that meme, man. He gave
If
he
I were
even
the
gave it
Lakers,
even
I,
gave it to the coach, man. Like, yo, you're
if
done.
I was the Lakers, Wiggs, I would trade LeBron James now. I would send him to the Golden State Warriors. Let him and Steph Curry try to do something together and call it a day. Get your draft pick back. Maybe like bring in. I don't know. The NBA sucks when it comes to trades. Maybe they'll trade LeBron to the Warriors and end up getting, I don't know, Kevin Durant from the Suns or some shit. Like, you
Right,
know how it
right.
works. But
I know the
that's what they
Warriors
need to
are
do. That's his only hope, is to create a
so
super team with him, Steph, and KD. Because he's not going
yeah,
to win in LA with
I was
Luka.
gonna say I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because I know the Warriors are trying to get another player. Like the
Yeah.
Warriors are talking like they're calling everybody. They're calling the Lakers. They're calling Philly for Paul George. They're calling the Suns for Kevin Durant. The problem is KD knows he needs to get a ring without Steph Curry. I think just like Kyrie and AD probably want to get a ring now without LeBron. That would be great for those two players.
Mm-hmm.
Kyrie and AD get a ring without LeBron. That solidifies their place in the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Both of them now have. I think Kyrie already has one.
Yep.
AD has one. So if they can both get two chips and without LeBron, that's huge for them. Let me talk about you saying LeBron should leave. I think the Lakers can get a big. I just don't think they're going to get that. I mean, the bigs that they can get are not going to be on the level of Anthony Davis and your Jokic and stuff like that. But I
Yeah.
do think they can get a JaVale McGee type big. And I
Mm-hmm.
think if they can do that, that clears up. Luca and LeBron are very good passers, so they can have somebody they can pass to. but they don't have that Klay Thompson. And like you said, players don't want to play with LeBron. Klay could have went to LA. He
Yep.
chose to go to Dallas with Kyrie and Luka. We see how Kyrie and Klay, and Klay still has something to prove. So I think again the GM noticed that like Klay still has something to prove, Kyrie still has something to prove. Luka's the youngest out of these guys, and he doesn't have a chip, and he's acting like he has nothing left to prove.
Yeah.
Get this guy out of here. I want championship guys. I want guys that want to win. Let me bring in AD, another champion. So now they have AD's a champion, Clay's a champion, Kyrie's a champion. He said that they're building a culture of championship, and defense wins championship. So as much as people are giving that GM a hard time, I do think he might have won this trade. They should have gotten more back for sure. That's where he's gonna get some negative credit for this. They should have got more pieces back, whether it's 3 first rounders, whether it's shopping it around to see who else they could get. They definitely should have got more back, but I do think the Mavs win this trade. I think the Lakers, if they can get one big, they're in good shape. I think they're fourth or fifth in the West right now. If they can get a big before this trade deadline, and I don't know that they can, but even if they can just get any big, I think they're in good shape to potentially meet the Mavs. Maybe not in the Western Conference Championship, but at some point in the playoffs, they might have a matchup. And I'm not sure who wins if the Lakers get a big, because Luka is going to be the best player in that series, in my
Hmm.
opinion. If and I do think, like you said, him and LeBron, I think this challenges LeBron just as much as it challenges Luka, because now LeBron, when we watch the tape, we're gonna see Luka bitching and moaning. Are we gonna see you bitching and moaning too, LeBron? So you cannot. And I think LeBron has been great with guys like Kyrie on his team. You know, when he had a young Kyrie, he took that mentorship serious. I think LeBron now steps back into the mentorship role with Luka, and we saw he just got a 30-point triple double in New York. I think LeBron really takes over and steps up big time in LA this season at least. I don't know, like you said, I don't know what happens after this season, but this season I think LeBron and Luka might go scorched earth.
I mean, it's gonna fall down to coaching because Jason Kidd,
He's
he's
legit.
definitely shown that he can manage egos.
Hmm.
And I mean, and to be honest, Dallas has the more well-rounded team now. You know,
Absolutely.
and it's just going to be interesting to see how LeBron and Luca like work together because there's going to be times where I guarantee you Luca's going to just be dribbling the ball at the top of the key, and LeBron's going to be trying to orchestrate shit, and Luca's just completely ignore him and chuck up a shot, and it's going to be strike one from there. Or Luca is going to get the ball and he's looking for LeBron and he passes it to LeBron and then LeBron does his thing and then instead of him being an alpha male, he looks to defer, to a shot when the game is on the line and Luca's not going to expect it and then he's going to chuck up a brick and they lose. Like it's dysfunction waiting to happen. I don't
No,
like it.
Cole, I think you said something perfect right there. LeBron is an alpha, but since he's been in LA, he's been pretty vocal about saying AD's the guy.
Yeah,
AD's the guy. I think LeBron is willing to shift into that beta role. Like when LeBron played with D Wade, he kind of took over and said, I think they lost that first championship because LeBron didn't know how to be the alpha that year and just
yeah.
take over. By the second year, LeBron said, I'm the alpha. I'm the best. I got to do it. It's got to go through me. I think LeBron is ready to hand the reins to Luca and say, Luca, you go do it. I think LeBron would love to ride his coattails. Like, I definitely think this is something that people aren't paying attention to. Is LeBron is a I don't want to say coattail rider, but like when he had Kyrie on his team, Kyrie took the last shot to beat the Warriors. It
Yeah,
wasn't
he likes to
LeBron.
defer.
We know LeBron likes to defer, so I think this could be for LeBron. Oh, this is perfect. Like the only thing that could be better is a Steph Curry that can just
Yeah.
hit the shot off of a pass from LeBron. But if Luca can get that like catch and shoot three, this might be LeBron. Like this might be one of his best teammates if Luca can get his act together. And I think LeBron can bring that out of him. If, like I said, I think it's going to have to be this year because if it doesn't work this year, I think you have to blow this up. I think you're absolutely right. Like next year, either LeBron has to go or Luca doesn't get re-signed, and he just goes and does his own thing. I don't know that the Lakers can do that with Luca, so I think LeBron might have to go after this season. And do they send Bronny with them? Like I don't know how that's gonna work.
Look, they can pack Bronny up and ship him out. I'll give him a 2-pack Reese's cup for the trade.
Okay,
In an
I'll
Arizona
take
fruit
that.
punch.
I'll
But
take.
that's our opening take there, Brodies. Let us know what you think in the comments here. We definitely appreciate the love. Again, we're over 200,000 views and counting. But moving on here, our
We
niche
got another
top
trade.
our niche topics aren't over yet. We got the Super Bowl coming up here, so we got our game of the week here, our Super Bowl Sunday matchup. The Kansas City refs, the Chiefs against the Philadelphia Eagles. And yeah, I mean, it's the last game of the year. If you've been following us, Wiggs has locked up his pick victory. It's the least he can do after getting blown out in fantasy. A win is a win. I'm trolling. I got the power to do so because it's my league now. So, congratulations to Wiggs. Uh, some great picks there. But I mean, uh, yeah, I mean, we got the Chiefs versus the Eagles, two best teams in the league, arguably. We got arguably the greatest quarterback of all time looking to go for a three-peat against a pretty stout defense who's looking for some get back from the last time they played. And we also got New Jack City, Hurts, looking to solidify himself as one of the greats as well, with the Kango hat looking like Nino Brown. So, like, let's start off with you, Wiggs. Like, who do you think's going to win this matchup?
Before we get to wins and losses, because we might have to save that for our later podcast. Cole, let me ask you, what matchup are you most looking forward to in this game? We, like you said, you mentioned the quarterbacks. These both of these defenses are number 2 and number 4 in scoring defense. So we have two top 5 scoring defenses. Is there a player that sticks out on defense for either team that you're looking at that matchup? Um, are there two offensive players, like you said, the quarterbacks? What matchup sticks out to you the most in this game?
I'm going to have to say Saquon Barkley versus their run defense.
Chris Johnson,
And
that line in the Chiefs defense.
yeah, yeah. And then really to see what Kansas City can do against this defense, man. They got a pass rush and pass defense. Like they got a great secondary and a great front seven. And this is arguably the best defense they've played all year. And I think the last game was the first game all season that they put up 30 points. So this is going to be a test on, can Mahomes get it done when it matters against like the best defense in the league? And I mean, I'm hoping and praying that they get a ref team that has a neutral, biased opinion. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when
It
the
ain't
Eagles
happening.
played the Commanders, Ed Hockley's son is 6-0. The Eagles are 6-0 whenever that guy ref their game. He should
Yep,
have
it
not been in the
wasn't gonna
NFC
happen.
Championship game. You
Yep,
should not have any
completely agree.
refs that have a winning record for a particular team refing in a championship game. That's insane.
Completely agree.
You know what I'm saying? So like, the Chiefs, their biggest challenge is, can he deliver against that secondary and get away from that pass rush without the refs' help? Okay. And then the Eagles, their dilemma here is, can Jalen Hurts, and I said this in several episodes before, can Jalen Hurts win with his arm? Because what's going to happen is Steve Spagnuolo is going to put 8 or 9 in the box, and he's going to force Jalen Hurts to win with his arm. Jalen Hurts can only do 3 passes. He can either do, a 3-yard out, a go route or a screen. That's all he does. He can't throw between the numbers like Jaden. He can't deliver any soft passes or whatever. It's just a throw it up to AJ Brown. I mean, the dude is a beast. So you have a 50-60% chance of him coming down with it. So that's what it's going to be. It's going to say, okay, can we keep the Eagles in third and long? Third and 6, third and 7, third and 8, third and 9, because you ain't running the ball on third and 9. I don't care how good you are. Not against that Chiefs defense, maybe against the Commanders, but not against the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs keep them third and long, throughout the game and force them to beat them with their arm, pause. Give me the Chiefs, man, for the three-peat.
Hey, yo, beat him with the arm.
Beat them with the arm.
They gotta.
You gotta beat them with the arm.
Hey, for the 3 feet. Okay.
For the three-peat.
So I do wanna answer that question, and then I have another question for you after this. But for matchups, I love the first thing you said, Saquon versus Chris Johnson and the Chiefs defense. Um, I think my matchup is I think I'm gonna go with the Mahomes versus the Eagles defense because this defense, the only thing I don't like about them is they're young. That's the only thing I don't like about this Eagles defense, but they are talented. I mean, they beat the brakes off the Packers, beat them boys up, came to DC, and all of a sudden now we're fumbling. We had no turnovers the first two games.
Mm-hmm.
Go to play the Eagles, and now we fumble. What, 2, 3 times? I think we
Three
have four or
times in a
five
fit.
turn. Yeah, like just beat on us. We know that the Chiefs have been okay this year. They've been winning, not by big margins. They've been getting it done, but not by big margins. And this Eagles team is complete. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. So I'm gonna say I'm looking forward to the Mahomes Eagles defense matchup. But I'm gonna go take that into my next question, and I think I know the answer to this. Who are you giving the coaching benefit to? I already know the answers for you, Coach, because
Oh,
you
it's
hate
it's it's
Sirianni.
Andy Reid. It's Andy
I know
Reid.
you hate Sirianni,
It's Andy.
but
Like I'll give
okay.
Sirianni credit where credit is due. He's doing a great job over there. I just don't like him, but he's doing a great job over there. But he's not. Well, I'll put it to you this way: he figured out on Championship Sunday against us. It's like, look, our bread and butter is Saquon Barkley. We're going to run the ball. We're going to do what Harbaugh should have done. We're going to run the ball the entire game. We don't care if Jalen Hurts throws for 50 yards. If we run for 350 yards and he throws for 5 yards and we won the Super Bowl, who gives a damn? You know,
They
yeah,
had
we're paying
six
him 200
six rushing
million.
touchdowns against us.
Yeah,
Six rushing touchdowns against us. Baltimore, are you listening?
no, seven,
Six,
seven.
7 rushing touchdowns. Baltimore, are you listening? Like
So
that's the game plan.
yeah. So like, if they it's simple. It's like, look, let's run the ball, keep Mahomes off the field, and we cannot afford to make any mistakes because the refs are they're going to look for any reason to throw a flag. So just play flawless football. And like to your point with Mahomes versus this defense, the challenge is like the Eagles are going to be able to stop their run. But unfortunately, people don't understand that Mahomes is starting to use his legs.
He does that every playoffs. That's where I said I thought one of let me enter this stat. When Mahomes played the Bills in the regular season, Mahomes has 0 rushing yards. One of the things I told you during the season is I think Andy Reid is holding the Chiefs back on purpose to
Mm-hmm.
make them do the hard part now, and then when it gets to the playoffs, he takes the training wheels off and lets them do what they need to do to win. So
Yep.
he made them play. All right, Mahomes, I don't want to see you run at all. Let's see if you can win this game. They lost. That gives the Bills false hope that, oh, we can beat these guys. No,
Mm-hmm.
you can beat us when we have the training wheels off. Once we take these training wheels off and Mahomes can now run when he needs to, now you see the real Chiefs. I think they were playing with training wheels during the season, and they took them off. And now, yeah, you see,
They're so
because
damn
Mahomes
good,
he
man.
was running against the Bills. He ran at least 9, 10 times,
And he's
if
running
not
all
more than
Bengals.
that. And listen, he didn't look like the weakest ankles. Well, what I
The
during the
loosest
season,
ankles in the
the loosest
NFL.
ankles. He didn't look
Yeah,
like it, man. He looked like he was ready. He looked like Jalen Hurts out there, and I
that's
love
going
to
to be
see
the
that.
problem. I guarantee you, because it's going to be like 3rd and 7, and they're going to have they're going to send all their receivers on like go routes or something, and then they're just
Xavier
going to
Worthy,
leave.
DeAndre Hopkins,
They're
Travis
just going to leave
Kelsey
the open field wide open, and next thing you know, Mahomes is just going to scramble for 10 yards.
for the
He's going
touchdown.
to
I mean, for the first
slide.
down.
Yeah, and then someone's going to sneeze on them, and then you get roughing the passer, and that's another 15 yards. And
Mm.
now we know with excessive penalties, the ref can award scores now. So it wouldn't be my surprise if it's like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, you looked at Patrick Mahomes twice,
Seven
touchdown,
points,
see,
man. Hey,
like give them some more points, courtesy of the refs. Like
oh man,
it's going to happen. The
it
Chiefs are
is.
going to three-peat. There's nothing we can do to stop it. And it's so crazy how winning can turn someone from a fan to like a hater. Like
Yeah,
when Patrick Mahomes won the first time, I loved it. I was like, oh my gosh, man,
telling you.
Patrick Mahomes. Then the second time, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. But
Hey,
now I'm
yo,
like,
Patrick
I,
Mahomes, man.
I was like, this dude's the
Yeah,
truth. But like now I'm like, I don't know if I want this dude to win.
telling you. I'm
Only
telling you.
because
No,
I
this
know that like when you win, you get favorable calls. That's it is what it is. I mean, we can go back to that old
Jordan
clip with
rules.
Jordan
We
and
see it.
Kobe when they were arguing
Yeah,
at the All-Star game, and he was saying he was going to get a foul because he got more rings. It is what it is,
telling you. It's true.
But like at least, well, I don't want to say it's blatant, but it's just blatant overkill with these calls that they're not making, or they're making for the Chiefs, and that's bad
No,
for
they
the
have the
promise.
stats to back it up. It's blatant. They have the stats to
Yeah,
back it up. Like the amount of calls that the Chiefs are getting, or calls that they're not being called for. Because I think we saw like in the last game for the Commanders, the Commanders this whole playoff run have had calls where there have been pass interferences that weren't called. At key moments, when we played the Lions, there was a pass interference that wasn't called. When we played the Eagles, there was a pass interference that wasn't called.
or
So it's
that
not
fake
always the
face
call.
mask that cost us the third down conversion.
So it's not always a call. Sometimes it's a call that they don't make. That's like, yo, if the Chiefs are, I think the Chiefs had it last week. There was a hold going on. The refs didn't call it. They act like they didn't see it. The guy is holding the play. So if you got the Eagles and Jalen Carter is trying to get past the line, now all of a sudden they're holding Jalen Carter, but nobody's calling it. Of course, Mahomes isn't going to get sacked because they're holding him. So yeah, no, I think that might be one of the biggest matchups to pay attention to is the refs versus the Eagles. Um, like I said, I know you're going to give Andy Reid the coaching benefit, or the coaching matchup is you're going to give that to Reid, and I'm going to give it to Reid too, because the one thing I didn't like about the Eagles game, although they had the rushing touchdowns, with the lead that they had, I think Saquon needed more carries.
Yeah,
He had 115 yards. I want him to have 200 yards. Like, I want him to have 20 carries. Like what I said about the 18 to 24, he only had 15 or 16. Saquon did. Jalen Hurts had a decent amount of carries, so that made up for it. But in my opinion, Saquon is that dynamic. Give him the damn ball.
yeah,
I need Saquon to have 20 carries, and the fact that he didn't have that versus us with the lead that they had was very weird to me. That the Eagles kind of started. It's like they were like, it's like they looked at the stat sheet and they were like, okay, AJ Brown doesn't have enough yards. Let's get him a pass. No, keep handing that damn ball off. Let AJ Brown go read Inner Excellence or whatever book he wants to read on the sideline.
right.
Hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. So that's the only thing I'll say about Sirianni. Outside of that, I love this Eagles team. They came up short 2 years ago. Uh, you said you got the Chiefs winning, right?
I can't bet against Mahomes in the playoffs.
I'm with you. I can't bet against Mahomes. I think it's time for the NFL to get its first three-peat in the Super Bowl era. We saw Jordan do it um, in the NBA. I think Mahomes is our Jordan. Like,
Yep.
this is the golden era of quarterbacks. We had it. We had a little thing with Brady and Manning, but this era right here with Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Jaden Daniels now, like, this is a new era, and Mahomes is leading that era. I think he's gonna get the three-peat uh, and solidify his his stature, his role, his position in the league as the greatest.
It'll be damn sure. It'll be hard to not make that argument. I mean, obviously Brady has seven rings, so him having more rings will always be that argument. Until he's able to at least get close enough. But if this dude wins three in a row, I mean, he's the first to ever do that. And I don't think people understand how difficult it is to win a title, let alone back to back, let alone three in a row. Like if they're able to pull this off, there's certain records that are never going to be broken. Like the all-time scoring record in the NBA, I think it's safe to say that record may never be broken because LeBron got at least what, another 2-3 years left, maybe.
That's
So
the crazy part about it. Yeah, he's still
yeah,
going.
that record's never going to be broken. This may never be broken. A team that wins, three in a row or shit. I mean, at this pace, if they win three in a row, they may win four in a row next year. You never know.
Oh
So
yeah, no, that's a good point.
yeah. So like this dynasty that we're watching, as frustrating as it is for some fans, is like, hey man, just like what a treat to watch someone dominate the game like this, man. I mean, this dude went 15-2. Well, 15-1. We don't count that last game. They went 15-1, and they arguably had their worst season offensively.
I mean, yeah,
That says a
it's
lot.
it's greatness, and we saw Brady do it. Winning with more. We saw Brady with Randy Moss. We saw Brady when his best receiver was freaking Wes Welker. Like, it didn't matter who Brady had; they still got it done. We saw Brady when he had great defenses get it done. We saw Brady when he had great offenses get it done. The Chiefs have a great defense right now, and they have Mahomes. I just don't see how you bet against that. Yeah, so I'm with you. I think those are our picks because, like I said, you just can't bet against Mahomes, man. And
Yeah,
like you said, Brady has the rings, so I think Brady still gets the nod right now as the greatest. But Mahomes he's on his ass, man.
yeah, he's damn close, bro. I mean, he's not. I don't even think he's 30 yet. Mahomes, is he? I don't even think he's 30 yet.
I don't think he is. I don't think
Let
he
me look
is.
that up real quick.
Yeah, that's
Because
interesting.
let's see here.
While you do that, let me can we shift back to the NBA, the other NBA trade, the De'Aaron Fox,
He's
Zach
29
LaVine
years
trade?
old.
Yeah, not even 30 yet.
So yeah, so with the Fox trade, so like the Kings end up receiving Zach LaVine, so he ends up partnering up with his man DeRozan again, which I'm pretty curious to see how that's going to work. But the Spurs ended up getting Sissoko, and they ended up getting a ransom here. They got 3 first-round picks. They got Charlotte's in 2025, San Antonio's in 2027, and Minnesota's in 2031. So it's still spaced out. And then they got 3 second-round picks from Chicago in 2025, Denver in 2028, and they received their own 2028 pick back from Chicago. So
That's the
like
Kings, right?
that's the Kings.
Okay.
So this is like GM work right here. Like you're supposed to get a King's ransom for one of your star players. So that just goes to show what the Lakers could have gotten or should have gotten for Anthony Davis. But I mean, the NBA is young, man, because both of the teams are just a bunch of rosters from one and done players. So uh, Fox is on the up and coming. He's one of those up and coming stars that's going to be the face of the NBA. In the next few years. So I think this is kind of like a grooming type of situation. Bring him to the Spurs with a young Wimby. They got the point guard over there, orchestrating things, giving them some veteran, insight or whatever. Then when he retires, those two can, take off running, and whoever the next coach is after Pop can kind of like grandfather them in as far as the new culture goes. But I mean, I think it's a great trade. I mean, the Sacramento Kings had that flash in the pan a couple years ago when they was the number one seed. I don't know what the hell happened. They got rid of Mike Brown, so that's definitely one of the biggest reasons. But I mean, the Sacramento Kings are a young team. The Spurs are a young team. Out of both of them, I mean, they'll probably be able to make a nice little decent playoff run, but they're just going to get bounced, in the first round or something like that. The Spurs, I mean, they may have a chance to go a little bit further in, pause, because of Wemby, being who he is. But I mean, outside of that, bro, I mean, the NBA is one of the few leagues where you can pretty much predict who's going to win the title.
Yeah, no, that's a good point because I'm trying to think back last year. If the Luka stuff wasn't going on the way that it was, I would have forgot who the Celtics. I would have forgot that the Celtics won the chip last year, and I
Yeah.
would have forgot that they beat Luka in the chip. Like it was just kind of forgettable. But yeah, going back to these two trades within the Western Conference. Like you said, the Kings get Zach Levine. That's the major piece. The Spurs get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. Sorry to that man. I don't know who you are. You're gonna have to prove something to me because I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
The Bulls were also a part of this trade. They received Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and Kevin Huerter. I like Zach Collins and Huerter. They're really just pieces to be on the team. They're not. I actually could see. Now this could be interesting. Zach Collins could be. He's a big. He could be one of those pieces that go to LA and like a sign and dump. The
Yeah.
Bulls get Zach Collins because the Bulls now, with no Zach Levine, the Bulls weren't going anywhere before. They have a lot of good pieces that they can start moving around.
Yeah.
Zach Collins, Kevin Herter, Lonzo. I think is Lonzo still in Chicago? I want to say it
I think
was
so.
Lonzo
Yeah.
Ball and Zach Levine. So the Bulls have a lot of pieces that they can shift out, start the rebuild. Let's get some new pieces in. It's going to be a really good draft this year. Maybe start tanking for Cooper Flag, some other good players in the draft. So we'll see what happens with that. But I do think this I'm gonna say the Kings might be able to go further. They have not Sabonis. I can't think of the big that they have um, on the Kings, but he's pretty good, and I think you piece him with Levine and DeRozan. Like you said, they've already got a little bit of chemistry. They
Yeah.
should be able to do something, but I think the Spurs, much like the Lakers, still need another piece before they can take that next step. And I think Wemby's going to be a little bit like Anthony Davis. Like, I don't think Wemby is your center. Wemby's too talented to really. He's 7'6" and he can play good defense, but I think you need another big beside Wemby because Wemby can open it up for the other big.
Yeah.
Wemby can play on the perimeter, so let Wemby do what he needs to do. He's almost like a wing that just happens to be 7'6".
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox
Insane.
comes. Yeah, De'Aaron Fox comes in. He's a real point guard. So he, like you said, he gets to learn from CP3. That's going to be awesome for him. And I think again, that's more of a long-term team, much like the Lakers. I think the Lakers and Spurs are a little further away from what they can do. The Mavs and the Kings are a little bit more win now. If I can shift one more time to who's left on the trading block, Jimmy BAN Butler. Jimmy, like
Jimmy
you're
Lakefront Butler.
bro, you're the Alfred. If we want to talk about the Butler, you're Alfred to Batman in this
Yeah.
situation. You're not Batman, bro. Like saying you're gonna refuse to sign long term with the Warriors, I have
That's just
no
stupid.
idea. That's just crazy. Like Steph Curry still. I know Steph Curry is talking about the end of his career, but he's only 35 or 36. He's still one of the top 10 players in the league. Jimmy, you're not sniffing Steph Curry's jockstrap. Like, if you get an opportunity to go play with Steph Curry, you take it. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell he's thinking. Like,
He thinks
any
he
thoughts on
thinks he's
that?
the number one. Like he has the same situation where that Kyrie had after that championship in Cleveland. He thinks he's a number one. He thinks he can bring a title to a team himself, and he can't. And it's like he let that bubble run go to his head. I'm like, you made the finals twice because you got good coaching and you got a good surrounding cast. Because the times they needed you to be that alpha dog, you didn't
You
show
weren't
up.
that.
You
Yeah,
weren't
you
there.
weren't that.
You know what I'm
Fact.
saying? And you're more concerned about the color of the weave you're gonna have, sewn into your head in the off season. You're over here trying to look like one of those little what's it called? Those alternative music singers.
Emo.
Full
He's
to
trying to look
the
like an
top,
emo.
you
Yeah,
know, full for you.
he's on his
Head
emo and ego shit right now.
Yeah, like grow up, man. And now that he's acting like a BAN, nobody wants to come to Miami and play with him.
Yeah. I would not want to go play with Jimmy Butler. And we've seen him. I think a lot of people have pointed this out. If this was the first time he was doing this, you'd be like, okay, I get it. He left Chicago Bulls like this because he got into it with the coach. He left the 76ers like this because, or not the 76ers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, because he didn't get along with Cat, Carl Anthony Towns, who was a great talent. Couldn't get along with them. And then he left the 76ers with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons because he couldn't get along with them. So now
Yeah, he
you're in
wanted
Miami.
attention.
Yeah, now you're in Miami and you're trying to run yourself out of town and you don't want to sign a long term deal with the Warriors, bro. Get the hell out of my league. Honestly, like
Yeah,
we don't need you. I'm not missing anything by Jimmy Butler not being in the league. I promise you. Like
yeah.
you're
Like
not that guy,
no
bro.
nobody in social media, no one is saying, "Hey, did you see that Jimmy Butler highlight?" No
Not
one
not one
cares.
person.
No one
Not one
cares.
person. So
What's
yeah,
even they say? Look, we don't care.
hey, we don't care at
We don't
all.
care. So
So
uh,
yeah.
it's definitely going to. I think the NBA. This is good for the NBA, like all these mix-ups and stuff, because the ratings have been down. So we'll see how the second half ends. After the All-Star break, but. That's all we got today, Brodies. We definitely appreciate you tuning in. If you're not following us, you need to be following us at Brody Sports Talk on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Click on the bottom right-hand corner and show your love. Also on Facebook, we are going to be doing a fundraiser for local boys and girls clubs. With every star that you donate, it's 1 cent to the pot. We're looking for $1,000 in total donations. So that's 100 coins each. That's $1 donation for everybody out there. And all the proceeds will be going to the local boys and girls club to provide financial aid for sporting equipment. I think that's very important because, growing up, for a lot of kids, that, single parent households, that sports equipment can add up. So, local sponsors and scholarships and stuff like that allowed me to play the sport. So I definitely want to give back to the community that way. But
So
that's
did
all we
you
got
did
for
you have
today.
football cleats when you were playing sports? Did you have foot? Man, my dad had me in baseball cleats and football. Like we had to make it work, man. I don't know if you have
Bruh.
any like experiences like that, like old helmets or old shoulder pads.
I had I was in seventh grade, what I'm saying? I'm a young kid, and my mom just didn't know, anything about appropriate size for the equipment. So she went and bought me an extra large jock strap. And I'm like, Ma, you got me. I got an extra large cup.
Hey,
Like I'm over here, 12 years old in the seventh grade at football practice with a moose knuckle.
hey, that's funny as hell. Well, mom was like, "Hey, he's a
Over
big
this
boy.
joint
He
with a
need to
moose
be doing."
knuckle. You know what I'm saying? That shit was so uncomfortable, but she didn't know any better. And then
Oh,
like
man.
back in the day, if you weren't a running back or a quarterback or a wide receiver, they gave you those big ass shoulder pads or whatever.
I'm
But
telling
like it was
you.
$150 for all that shit, and my mom didn't
Yeah.
have it, so
I'm not
they
saying,
put her
bro.
on a payment plan. But a lot of these boys and girls clubs now they have scholarship programs where sponsors and local alumni will have you. They'll donate to the funds, and like if someone needs help, they'll pay for the equipment for them. So we just
Yeah,
want
but
to give
some of
back to the
these
community.
young kids' jerseys are the jersey game,
This stuff
the
is expensive.
accessory game.
They got the
These kids are
elastic
looking fresh,
arms
man.
and all that stuff. Yeah, man, I had the iron on jersey. You can get my football jersey from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? But these Bama's got Nike and Reebok freaking endorsement. Like,
Nah,
what the
they
hell?
got some, and the swag. I'm telling you, the swag makes a difference. Like when we were back in our day, if you look like that, we were like, oh, you're not good. If you came to
Yeah.
the court and you had everything on, we're like, oh, you're not good. Nowadays, you see a full team of kids with the swag on, they might kick your ass, man, and then talk trash about it, man.
I mean, hey man, so these dudes at the daggone on the street ball with the arm sleeves and
I'm
all
telling
that
you,
stuff.
man.
But yeah, man, I think that's
I love to
important.
see it though. It's a great cause, man.
Very great cause. I mean, a lot of best friends have been created from there. I mean, life lessons are learned in sports. So, just want to give it back to to the kids, because you never know, one of those kids that we end up sponsoring might end up being the next Patrick Mahomes or Jaden Daniels or something. So definitely want to give back. But definitely appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's your Lord here, Cold Word, my main man Jay Wiggs. We'll see you later on this week with some more content. We're going to be going over the top free agency needs for the Commanders. And we'll also be keeping up with the coaching carousel. A lot of moves have been made, but
Let's
until then,
go,
we'll
Miles
see y'all,
Garrett.
y'all.
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, bro.
Peace.